you are, however you may be listening. This is your Wednesday wrap-up. And, of course, we got Herb in the house. The chat already busy. Appreciate everybody coming in. Good morning.
What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, we had a lot of exciting stuff in football, really, this last week, starting with the national championship. So, being a Bama fan, you don't really have a horse in the race here. But Indiana sure looked like they were unstoppable before this game. But Miami, you knew their defense was really good.
Yes.
So it was, you knew it was going to be a good game. It was a little more of a defensive struggle than I was thinking in that first half.
Yeah, for sure. We're watching. And so it's 4 Alabama fans and an Auburn fan at my house watching the game. And we quickly discovered that we were rooting for Miami. And I think part of it being an SEC country, you're just rooting against the Big Ten because the bragging right. You know, when the Big Ten wins, they don't talk trash to the ACC. They don't talk trash to Miami. They don't talk trash to the Big 12. They talk trash to the SEC. So it's like, you know, see, look at that. I'm like, we weren't even in the game. What are we talking about? But
no, but you know why.
Yes, of course I know why.
Because the SEC is like Cowboys fans. Nothing's going on. And you're out there like, oh, we the bet. Like, calm down. Yeah.
All right, but that's not fair either. That's not fair either because we could be sitting in our home doing nothing and people still take shots at us. So let's call it both ways on that one. We are the villains of the college football world.
Yeah,
so
well, it's because you're so vocal about we're the best, always the best. And it's like, okay,
but you just compared us to Cowboys fans. It didn't take us 30 years to win something. Like, that's not fair. What are we talking about? Had you said any other team, but you compare the SEC to Cowboys fans, you're making it sound like 30 years.
I'm comparing fan bases, not the production. I'm comparing fan bases.
I thought we were cool, Bo. Bo started off just throwing haymakers at us this morning. Good grief.
Needed stronger coffee?
Yes, I need. You know what? We're gonna switch cups. Here you go.
Yeah,
here's another cup of coffee.
Red Solo cup. I was thinking it was the Solo cup.
Solo cups here also. Like I. But no, I knew Miami's only shot at this one. You know, was a good physical game.
Yeah.
You know, keep it low scoring. Indiana has been proven one of those teams, man. If they get up 10, they go up 20, and then they go up 30, you know, and you just cannot let them get away from you. So kudos to Miami. And honestly, it was two contrasts, I guess, in team building. Miami went with the physical route because most teams, you see a lot of teams right now trying to stockpile big assets, right? How many, you know, big name wide receivers and big name running backs? Miami had like 2 players. You know, they had Fletcher, the running back, they had Tony, and then they had Beck, who you were like, you know, which way is this going to go?
True.
They said, let's just build up our lines and be physical and try to win that game that way. And so, turning point in the game, I mean, you look at everything that happened, a block punt. What's up? Good morning, man. A block punt ends up being maybe the biggest play, right? And the margin of victory at this point. So, good game though. I was glad it wasn't a blowout or anything crazy like that. Even being low scoring, I enjoyed that game.
And it looked like it might get out of hand in the first half.
Yeah, there were times
when they got up, and you're just like, okay, this is starting to, like, Miami either has to respond right now, or this is about to get, like, we can go do something else.
Right.
So it was nice to see Miami respond. They get it in the end zone. All of a sudden, it became a game again. And so then it became a fun watch. You know, Mendoza really solidified that he's going to be the number 1 pick. Not that there was any doubt, but when you saw his effort in this game, I don't see a scenario where he's not a Raider. And one of the plays that I'm talking about, I do have the clip of, which is this right here. His scramble, he sheds like 4 hits to get in the end zone. So super athletic play here. But more than anything, it was just the not giving up on the play, right?
Yeah.
Like he ended up taking out 2 players and 2 of his own players.
Yep. It was at the 4th and 5 play. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Like
the thing about that too is Mendoza. So we always talk about like running quarterbacks, right? Athletic quarterbacks.
Yep.
You know, Mendoza is essentially a pocket passer.
Oh, no
but
question.
He's athletic enough to make you pay. And that's, I think you're kind of straying away from, is this guy really a runner as a passer? And you need that guy in the middle who can make all the throws, but kind of like the championship game last year with Ohio State. Look, if I have to run, I can go out and get you some yards. But I was because the stat line wasn't great in this game.
No.
But when it came time to make a throw, it was like, oh, we need a first down on this play. I got you. You know, and you could just tell how in tune he was with his receivers, you know, the back shoulder throws, and they give them credit, came up with big catches at big time. Because the refs were letting them play out there. The ref said, I don't know what a pass it. You might have to tackle a guy to get a pass interference call. So
I mean,
I just need you to fight through it.
They didn't know what a targeting call was. Because Mendoza got lit up a couple of times well after the play. Well after he got rid of the ball, he caught a helmet to the chin. You're just like, I mean, I feel like in every league, that one was targeting.
Right. The surprising thing to that, because, you know, he handed it off and he was running over and doing like a little mock block, kind of like, hey, look, I'm just standing here. Like, this might be where the play goes. And he got lit up. And then you go watch it again. And I get it to where you don't have, you know, the play on the field that time. Maybe the ref's not watching, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But the booth is there for those reasons. Like, hey, we saw some targeting. And then second, I was shocked that a quarterback didn't get that protection. You know, any other position on the field, they don't care about. If that's a running back, they're like, hey, be better. But quarterbacks, they're like, hey, are you okay, buddy? Are you know what I mean? And that's not Mendoza. This is not me making fun of Mendoza. This is quarterbacks across the league.
Oh,
you know,
no question.
Except for maybe like Cam Newton was one of the last. All the rest of them, they're over there picking them up off the ground. You know, the refs wiping the blood. And that was just, and then you go back and look and I'm like, yeah, that's like if you looked up textbook targeting, like that's how they write it up, you know? So that was wild. But yes, I do think the refs let them play both ways. That's why I said the wide receivers had to play. I didn't think it was outside of the targeting stuff. The rest of it, you know, wide receivers were getting mugged out there. They were just
they straight swallowed the whistle. Like they weren't calling anything. I'm not convinced they were actually even watching the game. I feel like it was just Stevie Wonder out there, and they're like, I heard footsteps over here. That sounds like a first down. Like,
yes, they really did.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Taking a different angle on this game is Carson Beck, and why I'm saying it's taking a different. It's really shifting away from the game here. It begs to question what is required for eligibility. And so his press conference. Now, this was his final game, so it doesn't matter now. But
right.
But it does raise some eyebrows moving forward. So this was before the game. He revealed that he doesn't have any classes, and he graduated 2 years ago.
Carson, I'm curious, did you have class yesterday? If so, what class? And I know there was a pep rally on campus. Just what has it been like being you as a student this week, particularly yesterday?
No class. I graduated 2 years ago, so obviously I've been working towards other degrees now that I've gotten to Miami, but these programs take a little longer than just a year to finish. So obviously I'm not enrolling again next semester, so I will be done after this season. But man, it's been awesome for this university, for this fan base, for this city, especially to, you know, have the opportunity to play in Hard Rock. You can see it. I mean, we're walking out of the facility yesterday. There's a ton of fans, a ton of people, you know, everyone's screaming, yelling, cheering. So it's been an awesome, awesome opportunity for this team. And I know all of us are super excited about it.
So, I mean,
I never would have admitted that, Bo.
You can't admit that, right? Like, you certainly don't add the I graduated 2 years ago, because that immediately goes like, hey, what kind of eligibility do we have here? What's happening, Chad?
Yeah. What's up?
If he'd have been like, yeah, I didn't have any classes this week, and just dropped it there, people have been like, oh, okay, cool,
right? Because clearly we weren't doing research on that. We didn't care that much.
No, exactly. And it's not like he was a bad student. He had like a 3.8 GPA or something, right? So I mean, it's not like any of that is really a factor. But if you graduated 2 years ago, you don't have classes. He talked about having some he alluded to having some pretend classes that he doesn't
Right.
care about. So then you're looking at it as like, okay, at what point does that type of stuff have to get looked at?
For sure.
What's up, Red?
Oh yeah, I'm working towards other degrees.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that I can't name right now. I'm like, come on, man.
Right.
And then 2 years ago doesn't even just put you in Miami. That's like in Georgia's orbit as well. So what are we thing. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that NIL and stuff has definitely done is kind of remove the student part of the student athlete. And now they're almost just, guns for hire, and we're just moving around, and we don't, because you can't tell me switching schools every year, your academics are all great anyway for some of these guys. So
well,
that
sure it is. If you've already graduated, you can bounce them around.
Yeah. So I mean, we had a guy, came from Miami, then went to Alabama to Texas A&M, and I know he hasn't graduated. So I'm thinking, I guess it just doesn't matter. Just pick whatever. But back to his, you couldn't have tortured that information out of me. Like I said, and it's like his brain caught up in the middle. Oh, but I'm still working towards other degrees, but I'm not enrolling next year. So you had one class. Is that what you're saying? You had one online class.
Year. He's like next quarter. Like this is a wrap.
Tomorrow, done, heading to the NFL. So I don't get it. Yeah, but you're right. We clearly have said now we don't care. I mean, over in college basketball, they had a guy that was in the G League who's joining a team in the middle of the year to come back. I mean, and Alabama has a guy who's suing to try to come back. He's like, I hate it up here. Can I go back? So it's like they don't care anymore. Well,
I mean, and they should.
Just wild
now that you're paying players, right? It's a pro-am league at this point, right? It's just treat it as such. Like let's stop lying about it and just
do that.
Is what it is, right?
If we do that though, can we have some contracts? Like, can we not have I'm gonna play part of this year and quit before the playoffs or the bowl game? Like, can we have a guy? Can we change?
That's actually perfect because that's exactly where I was going from here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That was exactly where we were headed because you're looking at players that are getting sued by schools. We have one of them right here in Washington. Is it's one thing if you were offered a contract and you hadn't signed it yet,
right?
But if you sign it, like the one in Washington is the most egregious one because he signed it and then 2 days later was trying to leave. So it's just like, okay, either honor your contract, and
right.
At least the schools are starting to get smart enough to add verbiage that says, hey, if you sign this, you can't hit the transfer portal. We won't put it in. So, and people are all mad about it, and I don't really understand that. You have to honor contracts everywhere else you go, or if you don't, you have to pay back whatever, right?
Whatever, yeah.
And so people act like, oh, the guy's going to be unhappy. It's like the guy wasn't unhappy to leave. He was just trying to get more money. So it's not like it was, I hate this school or anything like that. At the same time, you signed a contract, honor it or pay it back, which is fine. And then there's some verbiage in there that says they won't help you get in the transfer portal. There's nothing in there that says you can't withdraw from the school and just apply at the other school. Like if you have
Wisconsin had a guy do that.
Yeah, it requires some effort on the kid's part. But I mean, if you had a better competing offer, you're like, hey, you know what? I'll pay back. You don't have to help me get in the transfer portal. I withdraw from your school. And then you just go apply at the one that was giving you money. I bet you get accepted.
Yes.
So, I mean, people act like you're like, oh, the kids are hamstrung. They have to stay. And it's like, no, they don't. You just have to pay the money back because, yeah.
Can I say that the people arguing for the, hey, yes, he signed a contract, but he shouldn't have to honor it. You people are wild. Like, I want to know how your regular life goes. Are you the people that get up to the altar and like, I do, and then a week later, like, I really didn't. I'm good. I'm out of here. Like, if you sign, somebody's supposed to come to the house and do work, and you guys have a contract, and they just don't show up, are you just good with it? Like, what are we saying here when we're saying you signed a contract, but he should still be able to get out of it? So I didn't mind if they were going to get paid if they'd had some kind of rules or regulations, some kind of salary cap, something going on to regulate what's going on. But right now, a guy enters the transfer portal and everyone just throws the most money at him. And I know you say, is it like NFL? No, because then the guy can leave whenever he wants, right? There's been multiple instances of guys stop playing in, September, October, and like, hey, I'm going to go into the transfer portal, which doesn't open for like 4 more months.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make sense to me. Guys sit out bowl games now. Guys sit out playoff games, which is wild to me. So,
well, the other thing that the other question that was posed to me on another show a couple days ago was,
you have other shows?
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Why should we care, right? And that not only are you setting a bad precedent as far as like teaching these kids about real life if you don't hold them to their contracts, the other thing is because college football has become pro sports, right? A bad season can get you fired. Right. Now, you have a quarterback, arguably the most important position on your football team, under contract. You know what you aren't looking for anymore? Is a quarterback.
Right? Yep.
So you can have a kid come in and ruin a program because he's just like, oh, just kidding, I want to get out of here. And now you've missed out on every other, we'll call him free agent, that's available. So now what? You're just going to go into this season with no quarterback because this guy decided that, after the fact, I don't want to honor my contract. So that's why it matters, right? Like, you're setting a bad precedent in so many different ways. And then you're also setting the kids up for failure in the future because there's no other platform that works out. Like, you full on get sued if you do this to any other company once you're like a full on adult out in the world.
Right. I always try to use the NFL as an example, but now it's like 90% of these kids aren't going, so they don't care, about the NFL model. But like you said, everywhere else, like, hey, sign a contract, I'm on this. And if you're not making the NFL, are you thinking you're going to the real world and you're like, I'll just quit my job every year and find a new one? Well, guess what? It's a little bit tougher there because I know there's headhunters out there, but there isn't a, hey, I'm going to quit my job and enter the job transfer portal and everybody's just going to come out there. I mean, good luck with that, especially if you've only been there a year. The rest of these companies are not looking for a guy. Oh, let's look at Herb's resume. He's been on one company for this year, quit in October. So he hasn't worked for 2 months. He's just been waiting to sign with a new company. Yeah, let's get this guy. Like, these are not how these things happen, Yeah. And we know most of y'all, we see what you guys post. We know you're not saving the money that you're getting from college. So good luck with that going forward. So it's just it's bad all the way around. Yeah. So and it's a bad look.
So this is the part of the portal that people don't talk about very much
at all.
There are well over 1,000 players in the portal that don't get picked up.
Yep.
Now, just because you're in the portal doesn't mean you have to leave your team either. But if you're a coach and you got a kid that's trying to leave, by and large, you can be like, yeah, cool. Deuces. Let me open up a roster spot. So, a bunch of these kids will find their way out of football doing these types of things. Some of them will stay in the transfer portal, and then they will also apply at other schools, right? Yeah. So they're not just necessarily sitting back. And I think the ones that do that are the ones that realize they're not getting picked up. So they may still keep hoping that someone sees them in the transfer portal, but then they'll go apply somewhere else, or they'll go back to their current coach and be like, hey, so funny thing, I thought there was a market, but there's not,
Yes. So, I should have listened to my uncle's
what's up,
nephew's cousin's brother who told me that I was great. So
right.
That's the other thing these guys lose is every time you go to a new team, you're starting over. I understand some of y'all are great and you will be at the top of the depth chart.
No
Some of
question.
you guys are just okay, and they're hoping on your potential, and then they get you there, and they're like, "Oh, we actually did have a better player than you." So, the problem with the transfer portal has always been like we'll follow Hayes Fawcett, right? And he's posting all of them. Well, if you've got 2 or 3,000 people in there, and his page has like 20, 30 posts a day, that's a lot of people who aren't even being talked about. And we just kind of sweep those stories under the rug. So we'll talk about, oh, Mendoza, he transferred here, he won a title. Okay, what about like the other 10 guys right behind him who were in the transfer portal that didn't do anything? And that's the problem. Everybody sees the huge stories, the big money. That's not all y'all. Some of you would be better.
That's because nobody wants
where
to
you
talk
are
about a 2-star recruit that's coming out of Tulane, that's in the transfer portal, that's seen 4 snaps this year. Like nobody's talking about that because, and they're like, oh, I'm better, but I need more, I want play time. It's like, well, D2 may be the deal. Like,
And I think that's what a lot of these guys do. They end up having to drop down or go for something else. But yeah, it's just a goofy, dumb situation. And like I said, we talk really great about all the wins and we sweep the losses under the rug. And every year, more and more kids are getting in there and thinking they're getting rich. And I think too many of them have somebody in their ear telling them how great they are versus, look, man, if you only got 4 snaps here and you know this whole system, why not stay here another year and try to work your way up versus, I understand coaching change, maybe you need to get out. But other than that, why not work at it?
Player development is at an all-time low, right? If you're looking at the college and pro level, like you better have had all of the development you could possibly have by the time you're done with high school, because since college football is pro sports now, they're not really into building programs, right?
No.
They are into keeping their job. And so that's why you see a lot of these schools that are so heavy in the transfer portal, they look at like 12 high school kids now. Like it's harder for kids coming out of high school to get into college on some of these premier programs because they're so active in the transfer portal. They're like, yeah, we're just trying to like win and keep my $10 million a year job, because you don't have the latitude to actually develop talent anymore.
Right. Yeah. The flip side of that, though, also is a lot of these big programs are losing a lot of their depth. So if you are one of, like, let's say your incoming class is 15, you're going to have 2 to 3 of your premier freshmen who get playing time right away, which is the other balance to this transfer portal thing. That class of 15 that you have coming in, you have to identify like the 3 to 5 most important, and you have to somehow get them onto the field in the first year, and just so you can keep them from going to the transfer portal next year. So, which is wild to me. A kid will take the NIL money, come in as a freshman, say, if I don't play as a freshman, I'm gone sophomore year. And I'm thinking, now Alabama's had a couple where, the running backs haven't gotten much. And I think that's maybe the one position where guys are like, running back and quarterback. Guys are like, you know what, if I don't get a whole lot, running back, I don't get a whole lot of bumps and bruises first year, that's fine. And quarterback, let me learn the game. But all the other positions, you don't get them on the field, they're like, I didn't get enough snaps as a freshman, I'm out. Where it used to be, you came in as a freshman and didn't expect anything. Now they're perfectly content to take the money for 1 year and then head on to somewhere else and see if they get, And now, because you haven't played much that first year, whoever picks you up is like, well, we watched your high school tape from a year ago.
Exactly.
We're gonna sign you based on that, which makes no sense to me either. But okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you think back, even just a decade ago, it was always a big deal when an announcer was like, "Oh, we have a true freshman out here on the field," right? Like that was something surprising, like because a true freshman very rarely got much playing time.
Yep.
So
but now you have to get them out there. If you don't, I'm telling you, we had one of our best corners on the field in the first game. Thought it was way too soon. He got burned for a big play, but you're like, if we don't do something, these guys are already, some of these guys can check out in October. Oh man, it's been a rough year. I'm gone. That's
especially now, because they made it that you can redshirt with 9 games.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild to me. You played a whole year.
Yes. What is it about like the last 3 games that you're like, that's too many? No, 10? No, that's too many, especially with as many cupcake games that are built into people's schedules.
The redshirt thing doesn't make any sense, because now you've essentially made it so that you can have guys out there for 6+ years, like a Carson Beck, and you could redshirt having put up tons of stats, really.
Yeah. Yeah, because 9 + 9 doesn't count playoffs. So I play 9. I sit 3 of my regular season games.
Yeah.
Maybe I sit the 3 worst, whatever, and then that doesn't count as a whole year. You're gonna have like 1,000-yard receiver, red shirting.
That's my point, right? Like you could have some monster stats, sit those 3 games, you red shirt, you're still available for the playoffs. Because we've already seen that the college football playoffs and the NCAA are not the same things. And so, I mean, it's just like, what are we even doing right now? I mean, is this all I can figure that there is specifically for the schools to get more NIL money? Yeah. Because then your stars, especially if they're like a fringe star that may not be quite good enough to get to the NFL, but can hang out in college sports for 5-6 years, because apparently eligibility is this kind of fungible thing. You I guess you just redshirt for a couple of years, you get your eligibility, and you can just keep that NIL money coming forever. Really, I mean, you could have a PhD by the time you finally run out of eligibility.
Yeah. Although, I mean, if you're like Beck, you're not taking classes, you can't. I guess you won't get that PhD.
No. Well, so then there's the other question, right? Like, what is the class requirements to stay on a football team? Because apparently, I don't know now. Like, I thought you had to be like a full-time student kind of thing,
right?
Apparently, that's not the case. So, like, how many classes are you even required to have? I mean, he didn't sound like he didn't have to go to class. So does that mean he has like an online course that it's like typing, right? And there hasn't been typewriters in 25 years. Like,
right. No, there's definitely a compliance officer somewhere who signed him up for whatever the barest of bare minimums was, and probably signed up somebody that would take the classes for him, since he clearly does not care about whatever it was.
Yeah, it was probably like a weight training class in the morning or something.
So yeah, as long as you hit the gym by 8, you get credit for it. Like, oh, okay, sounds great. So,
perfect. I was gonna do it anyway, so
yeah. It's not college sports anymore, man. They have. I hate when they say it's the pro model, because at least the pro model has some kind of rules. College, they're getting rid, and now they want to move to 16 or 24 playoff teams. So they're trying to make this thing even crazier.
Yeah, 16 probably makes sense. 24 seems excessive. 16 probably that probably works. Yeah, I don't know. College sports is a mess. The only thing I guess is good is because the NCAA wasn't, kind of proactive in the thinking as far as how to roll this thing out, is at least now the contracts are starting to put safeguards in. So the schools are actually getting the guardrails on this system because the NCAA failed to act. So, I guess at least there's that.
What's up, Alex?
But
that's one of our many 6 membership members. Yeah, members.
Okay. All right. Yep. Yeah. Hey, you got to get those. They definitely help. Definitely help. That being said, that does get us to the halfway point. We got to say goodbye to our radio audience. So if you're listening on 97.3 ICU Radio, be sure to hang out for some smooth jazz headed your way coming up next. Otherwise, switch on over to our YouTube channel at Football-Talk. Catch the second half of the show. We're going to talk a little NFL here as we have exhausted the college ranks, and their season is over.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Miss you already.
Oh, man. So, we go through the divisional round, and, we might as well kick this thing off with probably the game that has the most controversy, plus just has a lot of weird around it in general. And that would be the Bills and the Broncos. Obviously McDermott gets fired. Not a big shock, right? You can't have all of the excuses for your inability to make it through the playoffs come down to, oh, Mahomes is in the way and Burrow's in the way and Lamar's in the way. Well, none of those guys made the playoffs, right? So so you have that end of it. There's no more excuses for Josh Allen and the coach, right?
Right.
So you can't blame it on that anymore. Obviously, the coach gets fired. You look at the Broncos side, they win and lose all at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
That's wild.
Bo Nix breaks his ankle on the third to last play of the game. And so now you got Stidham moving forward. Man. The Broncos aren't going to get past the Pats.
No. Their best chance is to, obviously hold the score down. But what Stidham hasn't thrown a pass in like 2 years. This is not, this is one of those. And people were trying to say like, oh, Nick Foles. No, Nick Foles came in the end of the regular season, right, and had a chance to work up to the playoffs and at least get some kind of reps. You can't throw the guy in one game before the Super Bowl and think that this is going to – and on an offense that wasn't, like spectacular to begin with. Like Bo Nix scrambled around and made that work at times, but I don't expect the same thing from Stidham. But that was just a wild game all over. Back to the McDermott firing. Of course, I do. I listen to the losing broadcast afterwards, and when he got fired, one of the guys was like, "How did Bean keep his job?" Yes. We always say, if you fire the coach and keep the GM, you're saying you had all the pieces to make this work and you couldn't make it work. Other way around, you're like, hey, the GM sucked, didn't give you any pieces, but you did the best you could. I was just looking at this team and thinking, like Khalil Shakir was their number one wide receiver during the year. Number 2 and 3 were both tight ends. Like, this is not, one of your biggest plays of the year came down to Brandon Cooks. He was with the team for like 5 games. This did not look like an offense, or the pieces were all there to make this work. So I was surprised at Bean not getting moved like him. But It's also funny to me that McDermott, which I get, McDermott fell into like the hardball category. We've had enough for too long. You didn't get us over the hump. But we waited till like Josh Allen's worst game to go, okay, McDermott, that was your fault. You're getting fired. So,
well, but at the same time, you can't have these built-in excuses every year and then still fail to get past the second round when nobody's there. Mm-hmm. Now, Josh Allen definitely had, his worst game, his worst postseason game for sure. But at the same time, and this is why I agree that the GM should be let go, because this team is so Josh Allen centric that although they had the number 1 rushing attack, soon as Josh Allen isn't perfect, that team falls apart. Like nobody on that team, including coaching, can figure out how to make the team rally when the quarterback is struggling, right? Yeah. You look at other teams, there's plenty of times that the team can win despite the fact that their quarterback just isn't having their best day, right? I mean, we watched Jared Goff throw 5 picks in a game once and win, right? Yeah. Do you think that was on him? I'm going to go with no. So, I mean, there's plenty of times where teams can pick it up, but when you look at the Bills, every single time that Josh Allen struggles, the team just completely collapses. They lose the game every time. And so it's that's coaching, right? Like you can't have all those other guys on the roster, and when one guy is just not having his best day. Now, I'm not saying they should be able to overcome when Josh Allen's thrown 3 or 4 picks. Obviously, that's an outlier. You're going to lose those games 99% of the time. But when he has like 1 touchdown, 1 pick, he's not quite precise. But then all of a sudden your running game evaporates and your defense can't stop anybody. Well, that's not on Josh Allen. That's coaching. Mm-hmm. And so it's not a big shock that, again, the team just completely falls apart as soon as Josh Allen isn't Superman. Now the GM should have been fired too.
Yeah. So it does make you wonder for like with the Steelers, Baltimore, and Buffalo, was there a mandate, spoken or unspoken going into these games? Hey, win or go home. Like, that's all I'm saying. So it does make me wonder that just a little bit. I also do think what you said there because people are human, I think like ownership is reading some of this stuff, and Buffalo's like, hey, look, all the guys that usually stop us are gone.
Yep.
This has to be the year. And then when it's not the year, you're like, okay, we definitely have to go another direction. So
yeah, I mean,
you can kind of see.
Of course, they all watch this show.
Yeah. I feel like they do, Bo. Like, you're a celebrity to me. So, I feel like you guys got together on the yacht before the game. And
Yes.
they were just like,
yeah,
the biggest question is it going to be your yacht or their yacht?
They'd already taken off, so I had to land on it with my helicopter,
No, see, there you go. These stories make sense to me.
So there is one other element in this game that we have to go over because people are losing their minds about it, and it's hilarious because they shouldn't be. This play was not only called correctly, it is literally the letter of the rule. So this is that interception, and I don't know why people are so crazy about this, but here we go.
Does he have a case? That's the question, Gene.
No, I don't think he does, Jim. I just don't think Cooks really has firm possession of the football when both players hit the ground. Quite honestly, I think by the time they both get down there and you're defining firm possession, I think it's on McMillan. I mean, he's got it up top, but I thought he lost it as he was falling toward the ground there, which wouldn't put him down by contact.
And that was slow-mo. Here's real speed.
So in slow motion, it looks like he walks over and picks the ball up. Like that is definitely not the thing. So for those of you that don't necessarily know how that rule works, is you have to survive the ground. So for it to be a completed catch before you fall, you have to have 2 feet down and then make a football move, right? And in this case, he's already going to the ground. So you have to survive the ground. And the people that are like, oh, he should have been down by contact. Well, he hadn't survived the ground. So if you take your defender out of the picture here and he loses the ball at the exact same point, that's an incomplete pass.
Right.
Because you have to survive the ground, come to a stop, still have possession of the ball. So because the defender's involved here, excuse me, the ball doesn't touch the ground, defender comes away with it. That's why it's an interception. If they would have both came to rest, holding onto the ball, that would have been a simultaneous catch. Then the receiver is awarded that ball. They're down by contact. So that is the 3 ways that this play could have gone down. It's an interception. This is 100% called correctly on the field.
Yeah. I think that they, and again, Cooks has been with the team for 5 games, excuse me. If you want, your biggest play of the game to come down to somebody, like, you just need somebody who's a little more physical and fighting for that one and bringing it in, because that's a game winner right there. So yes. I know it's a tough play for Cooks, but we can't look at the whole thing. Oh, well, that was it. Because even, the guy in the booth and bang, bang, when I'm looked at it live, I thought interception. My favorite part is the people who are slowing it down and doing screen grabs. Because somebody showed, and I wish I had remembered the game. I think it was the Bears game. They showed a screen grab of a Bears game where the guy has the ball on the ground and said, if I show you this screen grab, you think it was a catch. And then you actually watch it live and the guy dropped it as soon as he hit the ground, So you can't go in these little slow motion.
It's funny because, in fact,
does he have a case?
So a lot of people are pausing it. Let's see, where is it? A lot of people are pausing it right. So it looks like he's just standing over him to pick up the ball, right?
Right.
We're pausing it here and stuff. And you're like, guys, that's not how things work. Right. Because then once you get over here and you watch this thing.
Here's real speed.
We're no longer talking about a slow motion. I walked over and picked the ball out of his hand. That was literally the act of going to the ground. He didn't maintain possession of the ball. And then, people were complaining. They're like, well, look at Devontae Adams. He was down by contact. And they're cropping the video so that it's him falling to the ground. They're completely neglecting the half a second prior to that, where he lands on both feet and turns into the defender, which is a football move. So then as he gets tackled, his knee hits, down by contact. Both of those calls were absolutely correct on the field.
Right. No, I think you put it perfectly. Had he lost the ball there with no defender, we would have said no catch too. So
No, of
I
course.
think,
Of course.
yeah. And look, to his credit, the Bills broadcast I was watching, he said he thought it was called correctly too. He wasn't blaming the game on that, and trying to break it down to that one play and saying you lost the game. You also had 5 turnovers. So,
Correct.
I mean, are we saying and take that one out? You had 4 turnovers. Okay. If you're saying that, like, that was the one. And I know, like I said, Josh Allen has to be Josh Allen, but you fumbled before and after halftime to give the other team 6 points in a game you lost by 3 in overtime. Like, there has to be other things versus let's blame this one play, let's blame the refs and think everything's fine, because everything wasn't fine. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of blaming the refs. Now, I will complain about refs. I will absolutely be like, hey, these calls were atrocious, like, can't happen, all of that, 100%. At the same time, I'm not going to credit a loss to the refs.
No.
You have 60 minutes of football that you could execute and take their bad call out of the mix. So probably the best example of this is there's a lot of the Seattle fan base that blames the refs for the Seahawks loss in Super Bowl XL with the Steelers, right? Because the officiating was absolutely garbage. In fact, one of them, after they retired, even apologized to a degree about how bad that game was officiated. I still don't credit that loss on the bad calls. And there were some horrible calls in that game. I credit to the fact that the Seahawks dropped 5 first down balls on 3rd down.
Yeah.
If you catch 2 of those, you win that game. It was a low-scoring game because they were all for first downs. They were all going to be in scoring range. So you got to execute. If you, as a team, execute so poorly that a call loses you the game, you didn't play good enough.
Right.
Plain and simple. Whether you're on the winning side of it or the losing side of it, you have to go win the game. You can't let the refs dictate what happens.
Yeah. No, we have our version of that. It was at Tennessee, I want to say like 2021, 15 flags against us, including a pass interference call that was flagged when our defender was at midfield with the ball after intercepting it, right? My biggest memory of that, we drove down the field, got to within a 50-yard field goal range through 3 passes, and then try to kick the field goal from there instead of getting another yard with, by the way, who our running back at that time, Jahmyr Gibbs, who seems to be doing pretty well, in the NFL, and then we left 10 seconds left for them. They went, kicked the field goal, won the game. That's the part of it I remember. I was like, anybody who wants to complain about the refs, you're letting your team off the hook. And you're saying, hey, you guys did everything perfectly. It's their fault. When it's not, and I feel like the teams that do that don't get better because you're just like, well, there's nothing for us to work on. We were just perfectly fine.
Yeah, I mean, if you went out and really executed and dominated, and then you had some atrocious call cost you, I have no problem with that complaint, right?
Right, like the Saints and their like little non-pass interference at the end, and you're like, okay,
yeah, like I could see, I can see it in that instance. That is extraordinarily rare. That you don't look back at the rest of the game and be like, well, if we don't turn the ball over here, or if we actually just like complete this pass and we can keep this drive going, those are the kinds of things. It's like, there's plenty of other elements that are in your control that you could have done that takes that one call out.
Yeah.
So,
sure. No, I agree. Put more pressure on yourself to win the game than you do for anybody else.
Oh, for sure. For sure. We did have a funny soundbite from McVay ahead of the Bears game. Obviously, that game was actually became a pretty fun watch overall. But so here we go. It was actually kind of a funny soundbite.
LaFleur, obviously big in Green Bay, and Mike being on your staff, Matt, he's played Johnson 3 times this year.
Yeah. What would you guess? No, you know what? We watch the tape, we do our work, and Matt is a very close friend of mine.
Little, inside dealing there.
Yeah.
But they get it done. That game was honestly, that game was a little closer than I thought it would be.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the Rams, I mean, despite the weather, I thought the Rams would still, I thought they would come ahead in that one. But yeah, it having to depend on last plays, and I thought they'd score a little bit more, even despite, like I said, the weather. So that was an interesting one. I mean, if you're the Bears, yeah, I understand maybe frustration, but you're still ahead of schedule to me with what the expectation. So I think you still have to look up for this season. And then, man, what I say, shout out to the NFC West for actually playing well in the postseason. I say actually because of, what the NFC North did, last year. It felt like,
Were they all flamed out?
Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just, it's nice to see your regular season success spill over, and you get a part 3 this weekend. But no, I think that little comment just kind of tells you at this time of year, any advantage you can get, you have to take it, right? Like, you got to win these games.
Absolutely. And of course, obviously, they move on to the championship game to face the Seahawks. On the other side, you have the Patriots and the Broncos. So this was Vrabel ahead of that game. And it's a good thing he worded it this way, because it became very, very accurate, because perfection was not on the table.
The strength of the Texans defense, I've heard some of the pundits, former players say the Patriots almost have to be perfect on Sunday. Is there pressure on your guys to be perfect in terms of not turning the ball over?
No, man, we want to try to be as precise as possible. We haven't talked one time about being perfect since I've been here. We're aiming for success and not perfection. Nobody's going to be perfect. We're going to need to be precise. We know how critical taking care of the football is in every game, especially against a team that's plus 16 in the turnover margin. But I've never once said that we have to be perfect at anything.
And it's a good thing, because they were far from it. Neither team was perfect in that game. There were a lot of turnovers. That was a really ugly game just overall. But the Pats do come away with the win there. Kind of thought they would. They just seem to be the more balanced team. And then C.J. Stroud.
Oh, my goodness.
Horrendous. Through both games of the playoffs. Like, really just terrible.
Yeah. You would think not if you just looked at scores because of how lopsided the Pittsburgh game was. But the Texans defense still came to play, but they're over there getting water, and C.J. Stroud's over there. The one he threw, what was it, like right before halftime, where he threw that interception, like running out to the flat. I was like, it's like a 2-yard pass, man. You could have just run for the couple yards or thrown it away. Like, you threw a 0 outcome interception. Like, there was no positives that were coming from that play. And you still managed to throw an interception.
That guy, if I remember, if I'm thinking of the play you're talking about, if that guy doesn't catch it, the guy behind him would have. Yeah. Like, there were 2 defenders before his receiver even would have had a shot.
Yeah. I think that's 2 different ones, but yes, I know which one you're talking about also. Yeah.
That was the one in the middle.
Yeah, that was the one in the middle. Yeah. No, but I mean, isn't it bad that you have enough, to where you could choose from terrible interception? Are you talking about terrible interception number 2? No. I'm talking about terrible interception number 3. Oh, okay. I got you. It was just, because the Texans defense, and you might look at the score, oh, they scored 20. Okay, the Texans defense came to play. They didn't need great quarterback play, but middling quarterback play would have at least made this game closer. I'm not saying they would have won, but Pats, I still put in that other category, way ahead of schedule.
I think they would have. If you would have had a quarterback that just took care of the ball, right. I think the defense for the Texans was playing good enough that it probably would have been the difference. Like, if their offense could have just not hurt the team, they probably could have came out of that game with a win. Now, that being said, the Patriots are a far more disciplined team, more well-rounded team, which is why I picked them to win the game. I didn't expect them to play as poorly as they did, though, because they also didn't look good. So it's not like it was a lopsided, oh, the Texans looked terrible and the Patriots were killing it. It's like, oh, you guys were just playing hot potato with the ball. Like, neither one of you wanted to play with it.
Yeah. But I'll give, Drake May, second year, playing against, maybe the best defense in the league. So I give him credit. And I think Vrabel might be my favorite coach So I hated how Tennessee ended. So
Him and
I'm happy for
him and Campbell are
for
easily
sure,
the
for
most
sure.
likable guys, right? Like
Yeah.
that you can just see the culture they're building, how much passion they just have for the game. And you're just like, oh, like, you can see why these players want to rally around these guys.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. And this isn't a Patriots issue. I said before we even got this far that whoever won the NFC was going to win the Super Bowl, because every team on the AFC side is heavily flawed. Like none of them seem to have good consistency. And when you were looking at teams from the NFC, they were far more balanced, right? When you looked at the Rams, they have the number one offense and a top 10 defense. You look at Seattle, they had the number one defense and a top 5 offense. You looked at the 49ers, they had the second best offense, and their defense wasn't great, but it was good enough that they were finding ways to win. I mean, you don't accidentally get to 13 wins, right? So when you're looking at those types of things, I didn't see anything on the AFC side that was like, oh yeah, this is a good matchup. I would bet that this NFC Championship game is probably going to be better than the Super Bowl, regardless of who wins, whether it's Seattle or the Rams. Whoever wins that NFC Championship game is probably your Super Bowl champ. I don't know that they do. The thing there, Jay, is the Rams have a funny way of hanging on at the end.
Yeah.
Right. Like they may not necessarily like just beat people up, but they find a way to maintain that lead right at the end or get that comeback victory. I mean, when they went and beat the Panthers, that was his 50th comeback of his career. Yeah. So, I mean, as much as you say, give the shout out to the Lions, we're also going to throw some shade right now because he has that many comeback wins because none of those Lions teams could stop anyone, right? So he had a lot of comeback wins with Detroit. So
the good version of the Bears.
They are a better version of the Bears. Yeah, because they don't take so long to get going on offense. Yeah. So that is kind of the thing is you can trust Stafford to do that. You can't trust Williams to do that. Yeah. And so, I would say the Rams are a more balanced team. Obviously, if Seattle goes, they're arguably the best team in the league. The Rams are a tough out for Seattle. It's a divisional game. They know each other very well, and they stumble over each other all the time. If you look at both the games this year, the first game, the Rams win by 2. Seattle wins by 1. The second game, total point differential between the two was 58 points to 57 points for both games. The yardage is also literally 1 yard apart as far as total offense. Like these two teams match up against each other so well that I don't know how you could accurately pick this game, right? Obviously, Seattle gets the nod. It's here in Seattle. But if you're looking at it from a Vegas standpoint, you're like, I don't know, maybe some in-game prop bets because just out and out saying, oh, this team's going to win. It's like, man, I have no idea.
And you had, like you said, 2 close games, 1 low scoring, 1 high scoring, 1, kind of big comeback with Seattle in the second game. Crazy plays, one of the craziest 2-point conversion plays ever. Just the way they drew it up, but no, they are so evenly matched the third time. I mean, I think it's fitting that these two are playing the third time to determine the NFC. But and like to your points on Stafford, you got Stafford, right? You got Devontae Adams, you got Puka, who's one of the best contested catch guys out there. That's what makes them dangerous. Stafford doesn't care. What was he talking trash out there at the end of like, let's go out and be legendary? At the end, he lives with. I almost feel like he's one of those guys like, I hope our defense lets up a score here because I want to have this, 2-minute.
Yeah, I want to go play some hero ball. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's what makes him scary, And Darnold, I almost texted you. I told you this during that last game, saying, is Darnold just not it? And then he did his own, oh, we're down? I got this. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it. Like
let's
now
go.
I will make, you know.
Yep.
And I think I have the best receiver in the league. So let me just get to him and let's go win this game. So
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to this game.
And Jay, there is a 0% chance that I'll be at that game. I'm actually covering the Kraken game just before it. So I'm literally going to walk out of the post-game presser and then into a sports bar to watch it. So that'll be how that works out. You know, with the last couple of minutes here, there are quite a few hirings and firings, but probably can't get through most of them. So probably the one. Let's just touch on this. We'll talk about coaching next week when more of the spots are filled. We got Stefon Diggs released from Green Bay, and this is trending in a way that's very funny to me because people are acting like this is a surprise. They brought him in because they had injuries on the back end, not because they necessarily wanted Stefon Diggs. One thing, if you watched his time with the Cowboys, he is a risk reward guy. He is out of position a lot. And so what kept him kind of on the team is the fact that he would get turnovers because he would break on balls and whatever. But he got burned a lot too because he's not particularly great in coverage. So if you go back and watch a lot of film, there's tons of times where he's barely even in the frame. He's been so torched. So for him to get let go here, you know, again, they were just kind of filling a hole because they were a playoff team. But his production on the turnover side went away, but he's still bad in coverage. I mean, one thing to really kind of lock in your mind here is even the year that he was getting all those turnovers, he wasn't anywhere in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year.
Right. No, we talked about it. And people have heard this story a million times from me now, but I'm still $1,000,001. Him versus Mac Jones. I think he got a pick six on one play. The very next play, Mac Jones throws a touchdown over the top of him. I mean, that was the Diggs experience. Like when you have a corner and you get the pick six, everyone plus it up. They were great. We don't always show when we show the other side. We go, oh, Devontae Adams scored a touchdown on this long play, but they don't go on Stefon Diggs. But we all, even Bama fans who might love him, knew the same thing. Like he was boom or bust. He was like, I want a touchdown scored on the next play. And they're like, oh, you mean you're going to score one? He was like, no. I just want a touchdown on the next play. Period.
Regardless of what it is.
So however it happens, whichever way it goes, something exciting next play.
I could take it to the house or it could be behind me. I don't know.
Yep. And then you kind of put in the Diggs part of it and the little bit of attitude. And it's kind of like, all right, are we going to put up with that for a guy? We will put up with your attitude the better player you are.
Exactly.
If you start to slip. You've been banged up the last 2 years.
Yep.
You know, the results were either A+ or F+, you know.
Pretty much.
We're not going to put up with as much. So,
yeah. No, it's I don't even think the Raiders pick him up, honestly. I really don't. I don't think it's going to be a bad team.
Yeah.
Like he'll probably play somewhere next year, but it's going to be for the Jets or the Browns or, you know, some garbage team. That'll be the thing. So sorry for the strays for Jets and Browns fans.
I think they already know.
They are probably aware that their teams are not good.
Yes.
That being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. If you've been watching along with us, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. Stay tuned on my channel. Coming up next, we got Coast to Coast. And other than that, we'll see you all next week, or I'll see you in about a minute and a half. Take it easy, everybody.